Chair, because there's a way we were doing it. I wanted to distinguish between what we were legally required to do when we were assuming office, that we needed to verify the pending bills. And that's the report I'm saying. For that one, it was 2.7 billion, and we have a report to that effect. Now, from that.
But then now, what matters is what you reported.
Yes.
So what is the figure that you reported? Because you are within your rights to do all those things, even though the courts had a different view. At some point, there was a matter in Kitale where they emphasized the engagement of the Auditor General and the involvement of the internal audit function. But having gone through all those processes, what did you close the year as your valid pending bills?
1.8 billion.
CEO, you know that 1.8 billion and 1.89 billion are two different figures.
Okay,
so what's
Chair, let me allow the CEO to give the accurate figure.
Yeah, because when you owe someone money, it cannot be approximate. It must be exact to the last cent.
Chair, just allow me to quote the exact figure that was our outstanding balance as
Yes.
at the end of that financial year. Okay. Our total outstanding balance was 1,838,000,000 1,838,807,345. That was our outstanding balance as at the end of 30th June 2024.
So how was that different from the balance carried forward? In this query, the auditor is saying that the balance brought forward and the balance carried forward were different.
Because if you look at our financial statement, this was our closing balance. And it's the balance that is not supposed now to be carried over to financial.
Where is 1.941 coming from? 1.941 billion.
Chair, I remember in high school they said balance cannot be different from what is carried forward.
Brought forward, carried forward,
it has to be the same.
Should be the same.
So the query is that variance. Where did that variance come from?
It's a variance of 102 million.
And in fact, the Chair, the 1.9 was for the previous financial year. If you look at the query by the auditor, they are saying 1.9. They were trying to relate the current outstanding pending bills against the previous year's outstanding bills to see whether there was an increase.
Good thing the auditor is here. Auditor, yes. Can you tell us why did you query the two balances?
And also, Chair, in addition, because under the COB here is saying the county said 1.8 billion, but when the COB reviewed the report of implementation of 2020, it was 1.4. So it came to variance of 418 million. So why this variance of 102 million and 418 million? Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
We compare the balance reflected in the audited financial statement for the year ended 30 June 2023. The amount was 1.9 billion, the closing balance. Then the county reflected an opening balance of 1.8 billion. Hence a difference of 102 million.
How does
that opening balance is part of the movement during the year, so that now finally they arrived at a closing balance of 1.8 billion. So the opening balance is very critical. There was a difference between the balance as audited in the previous year and the opening balance as reflected in the
so ni kama kufunga duka usiku, kesho yake asubuhi unapata maziwa is not at the same level as the previous night.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Governor, surely, what is that all about? How can your closing balance be different from your opening balance?
Yeah, Chair, I'm also a bit baffled with what I'm saying. I told you, Chair, it's not a laughing matter. Chair, I would like to Dr.
But surely the team supporting the governor, you saw this finding in the management letter, in the interim report. Why do you want to expose yourselves to ridicule?
I think we should bring all the CVs of the young accountants looking for work from Busia alone, Governor, so that those 60-year-olds can go home and allow the young people to do this math.
Chair.
I mean,
Chair.
Yes, the one that we gave to
Oh, Senator Wambua?
Chair, I want to find out from the OAG.
the one that was given to CEO.
OAG.
Normally request when you close the financial.
Did you engage the management on this audit queries?
Yes, we did, in very many occasions.
But they seem to be seeing these things now here. I mean, the governor is saying he's baffled. I don't know. Chair, what are we doing here? You know, Chair, let's just be honest. Let's just be honest, Chair. What exactly are we doing? Are we carrying out audit, or what exactly are we doing here? I don't understand.
The chairman of the audit committee, by your appearance and temperament, you must be a man of significant experience. I think I've seen your name and your profile in this report. What do you make of this? And how does the audit committee advise the executive to avoid these conversations at an apex national level? Governor, we are seeking some advice from the audit committee. Chair, audit committee.
Thank you very much.
What is your role in all this?
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. First of all, I'll say that we were appointed 1 year later. We were appointed in 2024. So we've been in office around 13 months or 14 months. But we have put the Director of Internal Audit in perspective, because we realized when we interrogated the financial statements, the quarterly financial statements, there were flaws, and so many things needed to be addressed. We also gave a report to the governor because structure-wise, I have the charter here. We report to the governor, and that is something you need to address in future. When we report to the governor, actually, it's sort of, I wish we could report to somewhere like county assembly or something, but that's something to be addressed later by the legislators. But we have been concerned about the county's financial transactions. We have about 3 reports we have made. In fact, I was happy that the Auditor General used some of our reports to be able to come out with what we have here. Because we need a county that is accountable, a county that is transparent. There is a point you have raised about revenue collection, which we have addressed in a different report. And what you said is correct. We need to have a Department of Revenue. In fact, to some cases, we thought that the revenue collections were lower than the local authority collections. And the fact that CRA have come out with a figure of 2 billion, and we are only doing 300 and something million, speaks to the fact that we need a structural adjustment in revenue collection. And you have come out with a very good point that the receiver of revenue should not be the accounting officer. Actually, that's something that should be addressed. And we need to be very keen about Public Finance Act to go by it. I know what we have gone through is a bit embarrassing, even to me as a professional, because I'm in the private sector. I do practice accounting. But when I come here as an oversight officer, my advice also remains an advice, because I cannot execute that advice. But what I can assure you is with we were working very well with the Auditor General Corporation. When we started off, the entry meetings were not being invited, but because of that push, now we are being invited. Even the last exit meeting, we were invited and we did quite a number of contributions. And when we received this report 23-24, we called the chief officer. The governor accepted us to interact with the chief officers, and we highlighted the danger of Senate recommendations. The Senate recommendations were very serious: recovery and administrative action, and also legal proceedings, because you cannot take an interest.
Sorry, Mr.
Sorry,
That's Joseph Owanga.
Yes.
Joseph Owanga.
Yes.
Yeah, because of time, because we are almost getting into 2, you are making some good points.
Yes.
But I would like that those points you're making, you must find a forum with the county executive so that you are able to share, because you've got that responsibility as an audit committee to play some assurance role, an internal assurance role.
Yes.
Because the reason why I brought you into the picture is if balance brought forward and barrels carried forward are different, and that finds its way into a national report,
We have just found out something.
Yes.
Maybe before you make that conclusion, let's allow the chief officer just to say the difference between 1.9 billion and the 1.8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. If you look at the audit queries that was raised, the source of the two figures, they are saying the 1.9 billion was the closing balance for the year ending June 2023. That was the closing balance for the year ending June 2023. And then the 1.8 that we are talking about is for the financial year ending June 2024. So those are two closing
So in the
figures.
financial statements, you can demonstrate that the opening balance was 1.9.
Yes, the opening balance.
Are they here? Because you've got an annexure. I think the auditor referred to a note. Just show us that note. Then we can move on, because we might ridicule you over something that is not necessary.
In fact, I'm just going by their statement. Further note 17.2 to the financial statement reflecting pending accounts payable balance brought forward of 1.838, while previous years.
Chief Officer.
Yes.
I am looking at note 17.1, pending accounts payable. The opening balance, the balance brought forward is 1.83 billion.
For which year?
This for 2023-2024. Do you have a different set of financial statements? The auditor says you closed the other year at 1.9. Here it shows you opened at 1.838.
I think the only thing you need to do, Governor, to demonstrate that is to show us financial statements with similar figures for closing and opening balances for the previous and subsequent years.
CEO,
if you don't have that...
Do you have your financial statement, my friend?
I don't have.
How do you come to this meeting without a financial statement? Because you've done bullshit accounting here. There is no addition to the year. The opening balance is equal to the closing balance for the year, 0 on the 2 columns for additions. That is not how you do financial statements. So I agree with the Auditor General. This, first of all, there is a professional failure, professional negligence, gross professional negligence when it comes to it. Someone show, Governor, you need to have a view of this page. It is indeed true that the opening balance was 1.8 billion. And the closing balance was 1.8 billion because there was 0 on additions. The auditor is not idle. So,
Chair.
Vice Chair, Senator Mwarumo.
Yeah, also the second limb of that query, Chair, indicates that the records held by Kenya Power Company Limited and LAP fund indicate that the executive owes the two entities 7.0 million and 132 million, which were not disclosed as pending bills. The question would be, number one, why? Number two, LAP fund has to do with the retirement benefits for the employees. Why aren't they paying it? When will it be paid? And how do you disaggregate it? When was it, when did it start accumulating? Is it historical or it is current? We need that disaggregation. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we go to that next limb. On this one, on balances brought forward and carried forward, I think, Chief Officer, I personally can see what it was more of a mistake in terms of entry, but then it cannot be, you see, it can't be a mistake really, because the movement for the year needs to be captured in the financial statement. You can explain this in a different way, but not in the manner in which you're trying to explain it. No, but the governor does not seem to understand. I think he's still perplexed. I've seen where the problem is. Can you explain it in a way that the governor can understand it?
I think, Chair, I want to agree with your explanation. It's that I was referring to the audit query, the way it had raised, and that's why I picked that the 1.9 was for the financial year ending 2023, and then the 1.8 was the closing balances for pending bill for the financial year 2024. But I didn't have now.
Can I put it this way?
Yes.
That you are too lazy to reflect movements for the year. That's why your opening balance was 1.8, your closing balance was 1.8, movement was 0. It gives the public the impression that you are stealing using pending bills. Probably I've looked at these 47 of them, so I might not reach that conclusion, but someone else might reach that conclusion. So, Governor, can you explain this now, if you have understood what the problem is? Why brought forward and carried forward are different?
Chair, I don't know whether I'm still competent, because there's something I was still trying to check running through my mind, so that then I can refocus in terms of the movements, the way you are saying. Because there's just a document I'm trying to look at.
No, no document will help you.
Yeah.
There's no document.
It is just an accounting issue.
It might look like an accounting issue, but it could be a pointer to serious problems.
Yes.
Serious problems when it comes to management of your.
You are saying there was
of your
zero
liabilities.
balance, zero movement. Yeah, zero. Okay, I think I'm trying to get what you're saying.
That I think you pay this guy a salary he's the one who's supposed to explain it to your satisfaction.
Governor, we are all at this point relying on our business education from high school. So as lawyers here, we're also struggling the way you're struggling. But we depend on the professionals to know what to do.